Okay, we're going to test the RPZ. We're going to say NEO, notify, identify, inspect, and observe. We're going to bleed our test cocks. We're going to go ahead and open test cock 4, 3, 2, 1, and just a slight dribble on each of those as to not open the relief valve prematurely. And then we're going to shut 1, 2, 3, 4. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and hook up our high side hose to test cock 2 and our low side hose to test cock 3. And we are going to open test cock 3, and we're going to open the low side bleed on our gauge. And we're going to open test cock 2 and open the high side bleed on our gauge. And we're going to shut the number 2 shut off, and we're going to shut the high side bleed and the low side bleed, and we're going to take a note of our apparent reading. And we're going to go ahead and open the high side control needle. Once we've opened the high side control needle, we're going to open the 1 full turn. We're going to open the low side control needle no more than a quarter turn. And usually mark that needle. Make sure you just open it a quarter turn. And then once we do that, we see our relief valve opened on our gauge at 3.5 psi. And that was one little drip came out of that relief valve. So that's a healthy relief valve. So what we're going to do is we're going to shut the low side control needle. We're going to hook up the bypass hose to the gauge now, to the bypass control needle. We're going to open the bypass control needle and bleed the water and air out. We're going to shut that bypass control needle. We're going to take that hose and hook it up to test cock 4, open test cock 4, and then we're going to open the low side bleed on our gauge to get our gauge back above the apparent reading. We're going to shut that low side bleed, and we're going to open the bypass control needle. And once we do that, we see that our number 2 check, which is that's the part of this test we're doing, that number 2 check is holding tight. So next we're going to open the low side bleed one more time, get that gauge above the apparent reading, shut it, and what we're seeing on our gauge now is 9.5 psi. So that is the number 1 check holding at 9.5 psi. That's a passing device all the way around. So what we're going to do is we're going to shut our test cocks, disconnect our equipment, and restore service back to the customer by opening the number 2 shutoff valve. And that concludes our test.